we'll be conducting the meeting tonight. So I call this meeting to order, and I need to do a roll call of the board members so that we can establish a quorum. If the board members want to introduce themselves.
I'm Eileen. Hi, I'm Kate Masterman, the secretary.
And with 3 people, we do have a quorum. So our first item of business will be approval of the last minute meeting.
Over here.
So 3 board members have voted to approve the minutes.
Excuse me, can you speak up just a little bit?
Hey, Janelle. Hey, Janelle, I think some of the people are having a hard time hearing. So, sorry about that.
Come over here.
I know y'all are soft-spoken, I'm so
I'll
sorry.
speak up. Really loud. All right, so we have 2 sets of minutes. So the first set of minutes is the September board meeting that we had. And all 3 of us voted to approve those, so that motion passed. The second set of meeting minutes is from the August meeting. And after we've all reviewed those, I make a motion that we accept those. Do I have a second? All in favor? Okay, so that motion passed as well. We will post meeting minutes on the website as soon as we can. And at this time, Eileen is going to make a statement.
Yes, the board does have a statement for y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Wow. Come
A little circuit.
We're just get in front of the tables and get it.
I can speak now. I'm good. Okay, so the statement from the board to the homeowners here. Over the past month, a series of issues have arisen with 2 members of the Westbourne Homeowners Association's Board of Directors. The board has retained legal counsel to address these issues. Due to the active nature of certain legal matters and upon the advice of counsel, public comment by the board must be limited to prevent inadvertent disclosure of confidential information. We appreciate your understanding and your patience as the board continues to work on behalf of the Westbourne Homeowners Association.
We have a few items of business that we need to take care of, and then we will open up the floor for comments or questions, okay? So the first thing is motions. The bylaws allow us to pass certain motions by email between the board. So they were previously made by email, and each motion was approved by a 3-2 vote. The first motion that passed was that we remove Felix Ruiz as president and Antonio Ruiz as treasurer. That passed 3-2. The second motion is that we remove Felix Ruiz and Antonio Ruiz from the bank signature cards and bank access, and add Janelle Bissell and Eileen Kirkendall to the bank signature cards. That also passed 3-2. The third motion was request all Westbourne HOA records, documents, and property be returned to the board, and that also passed 3-2. And the fourth motion, we requested that they surrender access and administrator rights to our email account. That passed 3-2. So with the position of president and treasurer currently being vacant, all new officers need to be selected. It should be noted that per the bylaws, an officer other than the president or the secretary may hold 2 positions. So I would like to make a motion that Kate be president of the board.
I second that.
All in favor?
You agree?
I agree.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, you agree. Let's see, I also make a motion that Eileen be vice president. And treasurer. Do I have a second? All in favor?
I accept.
Only the president can hold the position?
And the secretary.
Only the secretary.
Those can only
Vice
be.
president can hold 2.
So then I have to release my role as a secretary and start
Yes, so I nominate Janelle as secretary.
Okay, all in favor?
I agree. All in favor, yes.
All right, so those passed. Wake Property Management submitted a resignation to be effective on September 30th. As we still did not have another management company by that date, we negotiated an extension. A motion to extend the contract with Wake Property Management until October 15th was made via email and approved with a 3-2 vote. The board also has selected a new management company. CKM Property Management will be taking over. A motion to approve the contract with CKM was made via email and approved with a vote of 3-2. CKM will begin management on October 15th. Our current landscaping contract was not renewed, so we need to address that. The current contract with High Tech Lawn expired on August 31st. Beginning September 1, the landscaper has continued to work on a month-to-month basis until a new contract could be signed. After I reviewed their proposal, I would like to make a motion that we renew their contract with High Tech Lawn Service for 2 years.
I second that.
Second, and I just wanted to add that we all requested a copy of the contract and we all have the chance
Reviewed it.
by
We all
us,
reviewed the
yes,
contract.
we reviewed the contract and get all the questions answered. We think it's a great deal and they've been working for us for 16 years. They didn't ask for any increase and they provide extra services for us that are really, they always offer us like great prices for tree trimming and mulching. So that's why we guess we decided to renew the contract.
We can't hear back here. Can't hear.
She was just saying that we all reviewed the contract and we get a great deal with this landscaping.
And they've been the same one that we've had in our neighborhood for 16 years, so.
And,
They did not
and you said the rates have not adjusted?
They didn't increase it.
Correct.
Yeah, no,
And they
didn't
do a lot
increase.
of extras.
So they give us a
And
lot
the
of
extras
extras
that
for
they
the good.
provide are really nicely priced.
And they've been working for us month to month right now.
So the next order of business is with the recent goings on. With the banking issues, online access was removed. We continue to work that out as we can.
Okay.
With all the recent problems that we've been having, the board has not yet been able to discuss the 2026 assessment amount or set the 2026 budget. Per the bylaws, the budget needs to be approved during an open meeting. The plan is to do so at the December 2nd meeting. The assessment amount may be voted on via email as long as there is no increase. Since we don't anticipate an increase, the email vote will be completed soon, so annual statements may be sent out in a timely manner. At this time, I'd like to open up the meeting to homeowners for comments and questions.
Before you start, I'm Sue Ann Wake. I'm Wake Property Management. And it really was with heavy heart that I decided to resign. But I just have a brief statement I'd like to read or tell you. I don't really want to read it. So I started working, our family bought a home here in Westbourne 26 plus years ago. And after a couple of years of living here, I decided I wanted to get involved because things didn't look good. Kind of not as bad as this didn't look good, but it didn't look good. So I ran for the board, got on the board, became treasurer, and we soon found out that the management company at that point was misusing funds and using up. So when you all pay 2026 assessments, those are set aside for 2026 bills, right? Makes sense? She was using funds as fast as they came in. Didn't matter if they were previous year, the current year, or forward year. And she cashed in at that point. Westbourne had several CDs for reserve and projects. She cashed all those in so she could cover the bills. And by the time we picked up on it, Westbourne was on the brink of insolvency, potentially bankruptcy. So the board worked out a settlement with her and fired her, and she paid back maybe half of what we considered, I don't know if you could call it fraudulent, but pretty close to fraudulent spending. So at that point, we had no management. We had almost zero money in the bank, so there's no way we could hire a management company. So the board took on self-managing. This Westbourne has 773 properties. So to self-manage that while also doing your own job, your families, your activities, pretty awesome, stressful undertaking on our part. And after, 6 months or so of trying to self-manage, the board, we had a discussion, and the board offered a suggestion. We discussed a suggestion that I resign from the board, because as a board member you cannot be paid for anything. Resign from the board and start managing as a job. And even though this was a new industry for me, I decided to take it up. And I was blessed with great mentors over the years that taught me the industry, and great board members for the most part that have helped me make Westbourne great. And after a few years, we were able to start saving money. Initially, we did have to increase dues a few years, but by 2013, the dues were $350 and didn't go up until this current year. So $10 in 12 years is all it's been raised. And during that time, we've been able to save, and you currently have a CD set aside for emergencies and catastrophes. Then you also have a reserve fund, and the board decided to split the two. And the reserve fund has grown quite a bit as well. And so the CD is $100,000 plus whatever interest it's been accruing. The reserve fund is somewhere in the neighborhood of $170,000. And with that, we're able to do the repairs at the pool if something happens, or if we need to fix something, or if there's storms and craziness going on, we can do that without going to you and saying we have to raise your dues. Now I know there's been discussion out there about why did we go up $10 last year. We had how many freezes, how many storms, and all of that caused damage to Westbourne. Whether it was debris cleanup, whether it was damage here at the pool, it all had to be repaired. Of course, inflation. Who hasn't experienced inflation with their bills, right? We faced that. Insurance costs have gone up huge if you haven't noticed that in your own lives. So with all of that, the board looked at it and decided it's time to raise them, but we don't want to raise them very much. We went $10. Along with that, it was a careful discussion, not like it's been portrayed. And they don't take raising dues lightly. And so, anyway, it was passed 4-1. And I know what I want to tell you. In the HOA world, we all strive for 100% collection rate. That's my goal ever since I started this job. I have never been more than about 93% collected. Till this year, I'm at 94. So banner year. But we work really hard to collect, but there's always those people, for whatever reason, can't or won't pay. And so we're running on not 100% budget. That's part of the other issue with your dues, is we have to be able, I hate to say it, but you're sort of paying for your neighbor that's not paying, right? And that's the world HOAs are in. So knowing that we could potentially be only at 92, 90 even percent collected, we had to accommodate that in the budget as well. So, getting back on track to my statement, I just wanted to explain that. I have worked, really hard for Westbourne. I love Westbourne. I love the people I've met and been able to work with. Every board that comes on, every new board member, I have stated in the first meeting, I want to learn what you are here for, because everybody gets on the board for a different reason. Some have specific issues, some just want to work for the community. And we have to work together and figure that out. And every year that this has happened until recently has been amazing to me, because there's so many great people in Westbourne. And so many that want to see Westbourne succeed. And so like I said, with heavy heart I made the decision I made. But the last 18 months have been cruel, very cruel to me. And has affected my health, it's affected my family, and I had to end it. This past month, these ladies have been troopers. They have they're continually trying to reverse what's going on. And I know some of you, or most of you, I guess, get community emails that are being sent that aren't supposed to be sent out, but are getting sent out. It's half of the story, and even that half is lies. So I urge you to be involved. This turnout is amazing. Most of the time we get no one at any of our meetings, maybe one or two. So this is incredible that you all would take the time to be here, especially outside and the crazy rain we just had. I encourage you to continue that. Continue being involved. Because as soon as you stop being involved, certain individuals might continue their nonsense. And you can't do that. Westbourne cannot survive more than what's being done right now. And what's happening is your money is being spent to reverse this damage. So I would encourage you to stay involved. CKM will bring a whole different level of management, not what you're used to with me, but they seem solid people. Anyway, so thank you for being a great association and for working with me and all that you've done. Thank you.
Yes,
Absolutely.
very much.
She's worked very hard for us.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So I just want to say thank you for all that you've done. I really appreciate it. We've been in contact pretty much since I've lived here. So when I found out you weren't going to be a part of it, I was very upset, because I do appreciate all the work that you do, even though it's not said. it's definitely seen. So when I saw that, I was very devastated, actually, because you've been a big part of my life, personally.
I second that.
Myself, I've been here 31 years before you, and then,
Yeah.
then you came on 26, 27 years ago. You've done an outstanding job. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
We really do.
Very well. All right, so we'll open it up for any questions or comments. If you could, maybe just give us your first name and the street you live on, so we kind of know where you're at. She raised her hand.
Carolyn Sinclair, and I'm on Westbourne.
Bozeman.
Westbourne.
I'm on Bozeman. I'm Bozeman with my Bozeman crew. I have two questions. The new management company, they're not going to raise the management fees.
So the way that most management companies in the world, except for me, have a base rate, and then they, a letter will cost them, they'll charge for the stamps and the postage, or the stamps and the envelope.
I see.
Then they'll charge, so they have fees, right? My base rate was set, included everything.
Okay.
So as these ladies have talked about it, and as I have looked at their contract, I don't anticipate it being any higher than what you were paying me.
Okay, so you don't anticipate the yearly fee, homeowners association fee going up.
No, the answer
At this
is no.
point, you don't anticipate
The
that.
answer is no.
Okay.
The set flat rate that they're charging us is less. And then they add on additional fees for different services.
Right.
And we looked at our needs and how often those things might happen. And we don't think that it will be more. We think it'll be a little less.
Okay.
So
And my
to
second
speak to your raise on the assessment amount, that I think is your concern too, right? That the dues might go up?
yeah.
So like they already stated, we've looked at the numbers and there's just no reason to raise your dues. For one, you did lose the constable contract in the spring, and that was $20,000 out of the budget. And so, only having to pay him a few months, you lose his presence, but you got that money. But we haven't had any storms, any craziness this year that sometimes we do. No significant vandalism that it was above what their budget line. Right. So even though they're spending money on a legal situation that wasn't anticipated, they're not going to overspend the budget this year, and so there's no reason why they anticipate, or I recommended them they raise the dues at all this year.
My second question, and this will be the last one. I don't want to be indelicate, but I don't know much about homeowners associations. Am I correct in assuming that renters can also be part of this group? And if so, to me, I don't think that that's appropriate. And again, I don't want to be indelicate, but it seems to me if somebody has ulterior motives, we could have big problems.
So the problem that you face is when Westbourne, the question was, how's a renter being able to be on the board? And the problem came when this neighborhood was developed. The developers at that time wrote all the documents, the articles of incorporation, the bylaw, the initial bylaws, and the covenants, conditions, and restrictions that you all refer to as restrictions.
Right.
And they put a statement in the articles of incorporation that you need not be a member of the association to serve on the board.
Only on the board.
Only on the board. So that opens it up to anybody. You could go out on the street to the beggar on the street and say, come run for the board, and that would be allowed.
No.
Okay? You can't change, the only way to change your articles of incorporation is with 3/4 of owners voting. You have to get 3/4 of the vote. Now, not all yes, but 3/4 of the people have to submit their vote.
3/4 of the owners.
Of all members.
All members.
75%.
So,
700.
not, yeah, well, so that is a lot. when you have one or two show up to every meeting, right?
So how much power does a board member have?
So, back on the board, so a member that's not an actual member, to be a member, you have to own property. And so when you have a renter on the board, he can't vote as a member votes. But on the board, he has the same equal vote, so 5 votes, and the majority of the board, whatever the vote is, passes. So it can be significant, depending on how the majority goes in the board, right? It may right now, you've got 3 against 2. So you've got a swing vote going with the majority here, which is good. But let's say an issue came up and one of them decided, no, I want to vote that way, it could go that way. So that's what you have with board members.
And not that you want to be prejudiced, but like I heard that there was like 40% of the subdivision is renters. And not that I have anything against renters, we got great renters.
I haven't done an actual count, but you've been running between 30 and 40% as rental properties. Yes. So that's why you need to be diligent as members that own property and being involved.
I got a question. My question is, and this is to be more proactive, is there a way in the future, because I brought an issue up as far as the other 2 board members are related to each other? And for me, from a business perspective, it really seems improper for a relatively treasurer and someone to be president. That would open up a whole host of issues.
So just speak to the relation. Oh, sorry.
Okay, but I'm wondering, my question is, can't do anything about having happen now. But going forward, is there a way, if there are 2 people running that have the same last name, can we have the ability to determine whether or not they're related to each other?
So,
Can you repeat the question?
so she's asking people that are related being on the board. It's not a good thing, especially when they hold 2 officer positions and have control. So the way your bylaws are read, and they follow the state property code, which is the governing code in the state of Texas, they allow people, as long as they can't be related, as long as they live in different homes. So if my sister lived down the street, we could both serve. Now, can that be changed? It's something they should probably note and see with this new management company, once they start working on changing the bylaws, see if they can't make a change. But if the property code allows it, you have to allow it.
We will check into that.
We'll make a note.
Well, especially the treasurer.
It's like a conflict of interest in a way.
All right.
Yes, but if I may add something on top of that, there's 5 of us, and none of us has any power if we don't give it to the officer. So they can hurt the community if they decide to go against the law and violate the bylaws, because there's 5 of us here, they need 3. So everything that they want to change needs to go through a vote.
Well, my concern is not that aspect of it. My concern
Preventing it.
is preventing it in the 50th years of the society. And with them having access to money is the biggest issue of all.
So she's made a note, and that's something they will add to their long list of what these.
We just make sure we don't vote them in. One thing, be
Well, you gotta
involved.
show up to the annual
Exactly, be
meeting.
involved, and vote.
So just
I didn't make
restate that
it.
for the
So
folks
the
back here.
annual meeting is in March, is when the elections are held in person, so it's very important to attend the annual meetings.
And talk to your neighbors, and if your neighbors can't come, ask for their proxy, so that you can vote their proxy.
Why don't we, as residents, have a vote to enforce a new rule to change the characteristics of the members?
So changing the actual membership, how members, it's wanting to know can residents vote to make a change of how members are qualified, right? In the covenants, conditions, and restrictions are have to be voted on by the members to make any changes to it. And so if it has certain things in there, like member, how a member is defined, things like that, you're gonna need, I can't remember if it's, I don't know if it's 75% from they reduced it, the state reduced.
Well,
700
what if
members.
we say we are a significant group here?
You'd have to go out and get people, I mean, the proposal would have to be put out to the community and then a vote taken. So again, they will talk to the new management company and see what that can be done. So
I think most of my questions were already answered about the banking information, about having two relatives on the accounts. And also, like, why are we meeting in the school like we usually do?
So the school charges, why are we not, why are we meeting in the school? Why aren't we meeting in a school? The school charges $350 minimum to meet there. And so we budget every year for the annual meeting to hold it there. And the rest of the year, we've relied on community people that have access to conference rooms that we can use, and we've had one that was free of charge. CKM actually has one in their facility. They are located up in Tomball, but they will let us use free of charge their conference room. So that's first question. The second is the nature of this particular meeting. Meetings you have to receive notice of a meeting. And generally, it's done via email. But because the email has been hijacked, we had to resort to the mail notices you got. And it was pretty quick because mail notices have to go out at no less than 10 days before the meeting. So it was like, oh, we're having a meeting, we got to get these out before we're not in compliance.
Okay, and another question is, other two board members, are they still part of the board or are they not? Are they being
So the other
rescinded?
two, so the question she's asking is the other two members that aren't here tonight, are they still on the board? Yes, they are. They just no longer have an officer position. Like you saw them go through, they've changed the officer positions. So they're still on the board, and there is a process for removing them. Again, takes people to be involved to do that.
And time. And I do know that we're not, the community email that's going out, that is not from us. Does everybody?
Yeah, none of these community emails going out have their approval.
None of them.
And let me say,
Yeah, that's the one they're trying to.
That's the bogus one.
Yeah.
and let me just say, for those in the back that didn't hear, yes, those other two board members are still on the board, and we have included them in every single email, every vote, every notice of a meeting, and we continue to include them because they are still board members. And they have chosen not to participate.
So you said Felix and Antonio?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Did you want?
So first, Mrs. Wade, thank you for the time you've had to manage for us. One concern I had, if you found out that the management company was mismanaging funds, I know after a few rotations, the current board's going to change, and this will be in the history, few people will remember this. Is there anything that can be added or will be added to add additional chance for the management company to make sure mismanagement of funds don't happen in the future?
We're looking at that. We're trying to work all that out. As there's a lot of issues that we are trying to figure out, and it's going to take some time. But yes, we are working on that.
Good evening.
Yeah.
So my name is David Hale. I live on Westlock Drive, right at Beaverdale Park. I have a question. Could you outline the process by which we would remove a member or members of the board?
So for the board to remove members, requires they have to miss 3 meetings in a row. So you have one tonight. Now you have 2 more. If they miss them, they can have them removed. Beyond that, it requires the members of the community to vote. And you need 10% to sign a petition requesting a special meeting. And you would submit that to the board saying, we want to meet and remove people from the board. And they have to grant that. You have the petition that you need. And then at the meeting, you have to have 10% that vote. Now, they don't all have to vote yes or no. It's a simple majority, right? But you have to have 10%. 10% is 77 people.
You have to have 77 votes.
You have to have 77 that vote. You have to have 77 on the petition.
So just to clarify, just so that everybody can hear it, a petition can be sent to the board to hold a special meeting for the purposes of removing members of the board. That petition would have to get at least 77 signatures. That special meeting would then have to have a quorum of 77 voting members, and then a simple majority vote would rule that out. A follow-up question, does the petition have to be wet signature or can it be e-signature?
We're still trying to get an answer to that, David.
Thank you.
And it's on the
And
list.
the question with that is also, does it have individual members within the household, or is it one member of each household?
1 vote per property.
Question. How do I pay my HOA dues?
How do you?
Yeah, usually I call. Do I call that 822
Well,
number?
CKM is going to be letting you know how they handle it.
Okay.
We still have credit card a system that Westbourne uses, and so as long as CKM, and I'm sure they will work with it, then I'm sure they'll have some type of call-in, sometimes something, but we don't know.
But they'll be sending a letter.
They'll send out a letter, yeah.
Okay.
Got a question. Would this like be a little bit?
Yeah, right here.
Juan was doing
Hi,
something.
I'm Carol. I live on Westlock Drive. What do you do when there's all of a sudden the people move out and the grass is real high? What do you do?
Can you repeat the question?
She's asking if somebody moves out and they're not the yard then doesn't get maintained, what do you do? So the association in a process can eventually come and cut only the front yard. The backyard, you have access with Harris County Public Health to file a neighborhood nuisance complaint. And you can either call them or go on their online portal and submit that. And they will try and get a hold of the owner of record to do something about the backyard. But we are not allowed, the HOA is not allowed in someone's backyard without approval, permission.
Okay, you may remember this, but they were the Border Patrol, Narcotics Division, the street was blocked off, there was dogs.
Okay, so talk to me afterwards. We're not going to get into too much of this. Juan had a question for you.
Well, I'll let Juan do his first. Mine might be a little.
Well, you've been waiting. I really have a question. I was just trying to point at you.
So, I know I've been on the board back and forth for at least 10 years. I know at least every year in March we have a change where either one board member's time is up or vice versa. I believe there's at least one that's going to be, okay, I guess 2. How are we going to be able to fix and prevent what's going on right now? I know that there was talks of me possibly going back on again. I think there was somebody else in this area that was possibly maybe looking at that too. But I know we're going to run into issues again. And being that even though these ladies 2 of them has taken the position, something's going to have to change at March when people are brought in. And if the 2 of these members, since it's not the 2 that aren't here, if these 2 are going to be gone, how is that going to get fixed? What's going to happen with that? I know we are still talking with, I guess, a new management company, some legal stuff. What, as homeowners, what can we do, if anything, other than the 77 signatures, petition, that sort of stuff, to kind of, I guess, proactively look into this, because this is going to happen in March.
So if whatever happens and these two people don't get off the board, either resign on their own accord or removed, then what he's saying is exactly right. A term for a board member is 3 years, and it's staggered. So you have 2, 2, and 1. And actually, Janelle and Eileen will be up. Their 3 years will be up in March. They may choose to run again. I don't know. That hasn't been a discussion yet. But you effectively, yes, have 2 positions, and you can't. Yeah, you need people. So what do? You get involved. You be involved. You show up to the meeting. You make sure that if there's a vote, like the mail-in election that happened, that you pay attention to what's going on, and you vote. That's what you do. You get your neighbors to vote. Be involved.
Is it consecutive? Like if they miss a board meeting, is it consecutive?
It is.
So if they were to show up like the third one and start reset.
Exactly.
So my question is, what can we do now as homeowners to avoid having all the soap opera that's happening right now, having sort of like 2 board kind of meetings and 2 board locations? Obviously, and it seems to me that this will be the rightful ones. It's a majority, and you got 3 instead of 2. But is there anything that we can do to avoid having all these continue increasing the problem? Because I think all that is just increasing the problem. Is there anything legally that we can do as homeowners to make it happen?
So you could definitely start the process of removing them. There's people that have talked to me and are interested in that. Like the statement at the beginning, they had to take legal action. So they can't